in this world is my balls and my word. And I don't break them for no. Do you understand?
Boom! It's the Big Kiss podcast, bitch.
Gee, call that energy.
Rare, sorry, I got that energy. You know. So you know what? I'm Brian.
I'm Abu.
It's bigkiss.com. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Send us money on Patreon, which we've not set up yet.
Send it to the mail.
Send us your crypto. Send us your wife's panties. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Crypto in a time of decline. Yeah, definitely.
Well, you know what? Because obviously we've been kind of floating around this crypto thing for a little while. And let me ask you, how much money have you actually spent buying crypto? In total?
In total, I've only put I think £220.
Okay, so you've put twice as much as me then. Because I think I've put in 80 quid total.
Okay.
So far.
Okay. I've made a return because you're thinking, because right now, listen as you speak, crypto is literally falling off a cliff, right? So Bitcoin used to be at 40 grand UK money, and now it's like £28,000. So a lot of people, I'm guessing if you put a lot of money into Bitcoin, you would have lost it. But what I found, and this is across the board, Ethereum, Dogecoin has dropped, but there are other coins that did make me some small amount of money. There's one called Polygon Matic, and I got this back in March when it was like dirt cheap. Like one of this altcoin was like, I think 2p or something, and I bought like 100 of them, and then it slowly went up to like £100 of value. So I kind of made so I made up like 300% on it. But it's kind of dropped now. It's gone back to like 90p. But overall, I would say the amount of money I've lost and gained is like equalized in a sense.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I bought £10 worth of Ethereum, and at its height, it was worth 40 quid. And when I last checked yesterday, it was worth 25 quid. So I don't feel like I've lost any money. I just have not gained as much as I had if I had sold at a certain point.
Definitely. I thought I've lost money with Bitcoin though. Definitely.
But hold on, at what point? Because I remember saying to you when it was like 45, 50, I was like, yo, I swear this shit is going to drop at some point.
Yeah,
because now it's kind of dropped to a market level where I think it will hold, in my opinion. But I wouldn't be surprised if it drops once again for a little while, and then it goes to another higher bull run later on. Yeah. This Bitcoin shit is no way over yet, in my opinion.
But anyways, what sparked this? First of all, actually, you want to talk about how you found out through Elon Musk, because I've been following more geopolitical news as opposed to what Elon Musk is doing.
Well, I actually remember I tried to get the Binance app, isn't it, to buy some Dogecoin, because he was going to appear on Saturday Night Live.
Yep.
And he was, even when he announced it on Twitter, he's like, "Oh, I'm the Doge father."
Okay.
But actually, there was a crash because he basically said it's a bit of a scam. The Doge.
Oh, is that what he said? Is that what he said on SNL?
Well, yeah, he kind of said it was a scam, basically.
Okay, yeah, because literally the price of Doge fell astronomically after that little appearance of his.
Yeah. And also, the whole Dogecoin, supposedly the founders have half the coins in their possession, so they can control the value and shit, and there's all kinds of dodgy stuff.
But isn't that the same with Bitcoin, though?
Yeah, but not half of all the coins.
Okay.
Because they got to mine it now, innit?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah. So.
But I think the real decline happened this Monday when China announced that it was going to ban the use of cryptocurrencies in its country. And from that point, that just sent like a spiraling effect to everyone. I think from that point, everyone thought, you know what, if China's not allowing it, then there's not much hope in it going further. And it is like across the whole board, everything just been going down, down, down. People have been taking their money out essentially.
I mean, the
And
China thing is interesting. I think it's interesting, one, because I had a feeling like, who is behind Bitcoin? And I know they've got that name of the Japanese geezer,
yeah.
but I always thought, who's trying to take away the value of central banks? Why wouldn't it be the Chinese? But at the same time, they own a lot of US dollar debt and shit like that. So maybe it isn't in their interest to have that separation of central banks and currency. I don't actually know. But, I mean, how much crypto is going on in China? Like, I bet you they're still mining it in China.
Agreed. Yeah, definitely.
And how much is it used for? Like, think about it. Most of that stuff is used for buying dodgy shit anyway, or digital products. Like, maybe they're not going to allow like formal exchanges in China, but if you have Bitcoin, you're still going to, if you're going to buy something dodgy, you're still going to use it, aren't you?
Of course, yeah, definitely.
And not only that, because there's weird online services where you pay them in your currency and they'll send a certain amount of Bitcoin to an address, a specified address, and you never own the Bitcoin, right?
Okay.
So how is China going to stop that?
That's the thing. Maybe I guess. But the thing is, did you see? China's become one of the most surveillance countries ever now. Did you see? There was like this small documentary that I saw on China, right? And they've got like this whole city with cameras like on everyone, and it can assess your height. Like, what was it? I think it's like a social credit scoring system.
Oh yeah, I have seen
Yeah.
that, where they can track you.
Yeah, like if you jaywalk, if you buy the right food, if you, I don't know, if you drive carefully, you get points. But if you do socially unacceptable things such as smoking in the street, you could be deduct points. Like, and they've got cameras like drones all over the place, scanning people. So I guess when it comes to centralized control, cryptocurrency doesn't fit the mold, and they're just thinking, you know what, nah, this can't run. These crypto people need to pack it in.
I mean, the crypto.
But I do feel like this is just for the time right now. I think it's just a pushback right now. For how long can China say we're not going to accept cryptocurrencies, Because it is internet money, and a lot of... I do feel we're eventually going to go paperless at some point in the future, man. Like cash, maybe not in third world countries, because that's still maybe a far leap. But in the Western world, with contactless, with card, like, how often do you walk around with cash on you?
Well, you know what's funny? The only time I
Yeah.
walk around with cash is because I've not spent it. Because I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
pay, because I don't use it. Like, I mean, I honestly can't remember the last time I bought anything with cash. Like, maybe sometimes you might pop into the newsagent and you got a quid or two to buy the drink,
Yeah,
and
entirely.
then you don't use your card. But most of the time, apart from like paying people who want to be paid cash in hand, like builders
Or chicken shops.
or chicken shop. Oh yeah, you know what? Chicken shops are used to clean drug money for sure,
Cool. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
all the
Definitely.
time.
Talking,
Like,
talk, talking about chicken shop. Did I tell you about last week about the crackhead who was behind me when I was at the ATM?
yeah, you did
Yeah,
mention
yeah.
that.
You'll never fucking guess what, man. This is also, we'll touch on it a little bit later about like the 6 degrees of separation. But I went in a chicken shop in Stratford, right? It's called Papa Chickens. Best chicken wings you can get for like 10 chicken wings for like £3, almost as
Okay.
good as KFC's, right? So as I'm in there, right, I'm queuing up, and then I feel somebody behind me. It's the same woman who asked me for money from the ATM. Is actually coming to the chip shop. She's like, "Have you got any money for me?" I'm like, "No." And then she goes to the next customer. "Have you got any money for me?" And he's like, "No." And then she walks out. And I was like, "What the fuck? What are the odds of me seeing the same person?" Like, and the ATM where I got the money, where I got my money from last week, was like at least 20 minutes down the road. It wasn't
Damn,
anywhere
she's
near.
just on
Yeah,
a hustle. But you know what?
yeah,
It's like that person ain't interested in, have you got money for me? Like, what are you gonna do for me?
exactly. Yeah,
You know, the person can't even be bothered to give you a sob story.
exactly.
You know, it's a bit shocking.
It's crazy, man.
But at the same time, the way I see it, and I know, for example, like someone like my mum, she would be too nice. There's some people that are too nice, like they not got that boundary about what's acceptable, what's not.
Entirely, man.
Because for me, like, if I can see someone, I'm already thinking in my head, yo, step the fuck away. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not, don't interact with me. Just keep stepping, and we ain't gonna have no problem. But I
entirely.
don't owe you shit.
Oh yeah, to jump back onto cryptocurrency, it turns out China extended its cryptocurrency bans to bank all to large corporations. Because initially it was individuals couldn't hold cryptocurrency, but now they're saying the banks, the banks in China aren't allowed to use crypto. So they're really going ham on this, you know. But it's also a bit funny also because I remember a couple of weeks ago, like roadmen were telling me what kind of cryptocurrencies to get. They're like, yeah, you need to get Safe Moon, bruv. That literally, I put a grand there. Now we got 100 grand. Yeah, bro. Like it's turning people who were never investors into like pseudo experts in like trading and shit, man. And it's funny. I just find it funny how how everyone got gassed about it, and now it's kind of like everyone's crying. Like, oh, I lost. I like when you go on Instagram, you see some guys say, "Oh, I lost so much money," and it's just, yo,
But this is the thing. I think the crypto game, unless you're gonna day trade it,
yeah,
because for example, even yesterday, Ethereum had been dropping, but it was up 13%. If you had bought a grand and then waited 24 hours and it goes up 13%, you've made 100 quid in a day
yeah,
trade, right?
yeah, true,
Even more, you can gamble even more if you're buying smaller altcoins and the coin jumps in value like 20, 30, 40% in a day, you know. But overall, like if you look at the trajectory of Bitcoin,
yeah,
it's still upwards. It's
yeah,
not gonna. I think it's not even been 10 years of Bitcoin yet. Like Bitcoin's gonna grow still, for sure.
entirely,
Look. I mean, I look at the effect of the blockchain and these non-fungible tokens, for example, in particular, and I think I still think this bubble's got quite a while to go yet, for
agreed,
sure.
agreed. Yeah, because even Ethereum was talking about cutting down its carbon emissions, because that's one of another sticking point that people try and stick onto crypto, saying it's not eco-friendly. A lot of electricity is used. It's damaging like the atmosphere with emissions and all that. And then I found it a bit funny that Ethereum had to come out and say, yeah, our methods now, the way we set up, when you mine it, less electricity is used per coin. So I was like, all right. But I still feel like it's kind of like a hateration, you know? People don't want change, yeah? And that's what China basically saying. Like, look, we've got a centralized system set up here. Having what's it called? Definance, is that the word they're using now when it's associated with crypto? And that's what they're like, no, that can't run.
Well, you know what? I still think the China are just fighting the change for the moment, but I think ultimately there's no, they're not going to stop it because
Definitely.
it does make a lot of sense, I think, but right now it's still early days. I don't want to say, oh, it's like the internet, but it is like the internet, right? Like, you think about how much the internet has changed the world and how
Yeah.
even before then you had the dot-com boom, which then collapsed. Well, why is crypto not exactly the same thing,
Yeah, that
right?
is true. Yeah.
Because especially in this COVID world where everyone's going to be spending money, like they've created all this debt, why wouldn't you want to spend on a crypto where it really is the market that dictates?
Yeah, pretty much.
You
And also
know?
with this online shopping now, it's just like, oh yeah, you can deliver. What was I gonna say? ASOS now deliver clothes to Uganda. Funny enough, they never used to do that before. So I'm thinking now, globalization has taken over, and with that comes with globalized money.
And I think, for example, part of taking control away from politicians and bankers is the cryptocurrency. You know, and
I
you
agree with
think
that.
about corrupt governments all over the world, and all of them are corrupt to one degree or another. And people are looking for a system of wealth storage, wealth preservation, which isn't corrupt, which isn't, you know, isn't going
Like
to be affected.
yeah, you know where what your money's doing or your assets are doing. When with my money in the bank, I'm told, for example, I'm being told I got 2 grand in there, right? How do I actually know it's 2 grand? How do I know it's just not some figure that they're using while my real money is being flipped, turned, trebled, and all that shit just for these bankers? I swear Santander must do that with all our money, man. Because all they're giving us is just numbers on the screen. Because you can't go into the bank and say, give me 4 grand right now of my own money. They'll be like, oh, actually, you got to wait 2 to 3 working days. Why? Because our money's
Oh
not
no,
fucking
no,
there.
4 grand they might have, but
Oh,
you couldn't go like you couldn't appear one day and be like, give me 100K in cash. They
no.
were.
Well, actually, okay. Are you allowed to take out 5 grand straight from the bank?
Depends on the branch, but I have taken almost that kind of money out on
Oh,
us
okay.
to go buy a car
Okay.
when I bought
Okay.
the Merc or whatever. It was like around that,
Okay.
and I just stepped into the bank and they had it.
Oh, okay. Shit. Oh, that worked out then.
But
Shit.
it's only that's small pennies, mate. Really,
Yeah. True. True.
a few thousand is not a lot.
Yeah. So I guess yeah. In that regard, yeah. But if I wanted to take out, like, if you knew you had 100 grand in the bank, like, it shouldn't be an issue if you take it out straight away. If they're keeping it as they so say,
Well,
rather
but
than
this is why I think crypto is going to come through. Because think about it. I was saying to my dad yesterday, just because we were talking about Brazilian currency, and he said at the moment one pound is now worth 7 reais, which is the Brazilian currency, right? I said to him, "Well, you know what? You can just go on an exchange and do forex, isn't it? I could go and buy 1,000 reais. Like, let's say no, let's say I bought £1,000 worth of reais. That would be 7,000 reais. When, let's say, the current Brazilian president gets voted out, that Bolsonaro
yeah,
dude, and then the economy and the markets react positively, and
yeah,
then it's only 4 reais for every pound, I could just trade it back into pounds, couldn't I? And then I've made more money out
yeah,
of nothing. And the reality is what? It's never been anything but numbers on the screen,
yeah,
you
entirely.
know? So so what's the difference to cryptocurrency? The only difference from cryptocurrency is there's no central banker
So you
controlling it.
own, so you kind of own what you have, basically.
Well, yeah.
The only thing that, yeah, but then again, even in the bank, I don't understand it. Like, what sets the tone for inflation? Like, what causes a crypto to go up or to go down? Like, I think that's what people are scared about. Like, the contributing factors. But in the same way, I couldn't tell you how that happens with real money.
No, okay, but so at least let's say in terms of Bitcoin, it's not a fiat currency, so there's a finite amount of Bitcoin. So we already know what the maximum amount of Bitcoin will be in the future, right?
Yeah.
And
Whereas
so
with, whereas with fiat money, that shit can be printed.
that shit can be printed. You can't print more Bitcoin. That's half of the idea, isn't it? So like, let me find this. Max amount of Bitcoin The
18 million.
maximum and total amount of bitcoins that can ever exist is 21 million.
Okay. And how
Right?
much have been mined so far? Does it say?
How many of the 21 million bitcoins are left? Okay, at the time of writing, there are 18.6 million bitcoin in circulation.
Okay.
Um,
What's so
so
3 million left to be mined?
yeah, this means there are approximately 2.4 million left to mine. Due to the mathematical model governing Bitcoin issuance, it will take around 119 years to mine the remaining 11.5% of the supply.
Really? Flipping hell, damn.
So this is why I still think the bubble of Bitcoin is left to grow for sure, man. You know, because plenty of that Bitcoin is also lost.
Yeah, true. But yeah, true.
And Bitcoin, you know, I don't know if you've ever done a transaction on Bitcoin, but it's still very slow and shit, basically.
How long does it take for the transfer to happen?
Sometimes it might take 20 minutes
Okay.
for it
Oh,
to register.
I
So
see.
it's not going to be. I think it will become like a reserve currency, like a kind of a gold bar. Oh, I have
Okay.
1 Bitcoin,
Mm.
right? Like you have 1 kilo, like a kilo bar of gold or something. Something that there's a finite resource of. I think that's the thing. And this is the other thing. Like generationally, the younger people growing up are way more accustomed and aligned with this idea of digital
Entirely.
currency, man. Because for
Yeah.
old people, some old people only deal with cash. They don't even put their money in the bank. They hide it under the mattress.
Yeah, entirely. My aunt the other day, she was asking me, she's telling me about mobile money, like more online banking. She's like, "Wow, this is such a revelation." I was like, "What are you talking about, woman? This shit's been around for time."
But not only
But I guess
that,
it is generational gap.
it's generational gap here. But more than that, like think about it. We've been kind of groomed into working with a cashless society. But
Mm,
moreover than that, I reckon about the crypto is think about how you buy stuff online, particularly like on Microsoft, like Xbox or PlayStation. Oh, you need to buy points. You need to buy
mm.
this. You need to buy that. It's just like you want to buy some cards on EA for Ultimate Team on FIFA. You can't buy it. It doesn't say, oh, it's $2.99 for a pack. No, you have to. It's like, oh, it's this many EA points, and then you have to go buy EA points with cash.
Yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah, definitely.
So, you
It's like we're
know,
converting our real fiat money into literally into digital currencies. Yeah, literally. So this shit's been happening from way back then,
yeah,
not just
World of
Bitcoin.
Warcraft,
Yeah.
like, and we're not going to become less dependent on technology. We're going to become more reliant on technology and phones and
Entirely.
whatever. Soon, you know, they already got Google Pay and Apple Pay and shit.
Yeah.
Some people don't even use their cards. They just add their card onto their Apple Watch,
Yeah, and just tap it away.
just tap it away using that, right?
Yeah. Also, yeah, even Tesco now, you know the self-checkout machines. In
Oh,
some
okay.
stores, you can't even pay with them with cash no more. So some of them you could put like a note and sign into them.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
now it's literally you just scan. It literally has a bar scanner, and you scan whatever you're buying, and you pay by card, and that's the only way you could use the self checkout. So it's definitely, yeah, we are being really force fed this idea of contactless, and also COVID is another thing that's kind of pushed it even further now because people don't accept cash because you might transmit the virus. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But it's just, yeah, I don't walk like so I can leave my wallet in my car sometimes, and I don't have to worry about it so much.
No, you know what? I'm actually getting to the point now. I have a very nice wallet, a real leather wallet, all that kind of stuff. And I've always had this thing like, damn, I need to have the little zip area for coins and shit. But now I'm actually getting to the point where, no, what I need is to buy one of them like fancy little clip things where like a money clip. So half of it just holds the cards, and the other half is like a little clip just for cash, for notes. And anything else just has to stay in your pocket until you're home that day.
Is that like a card wallet or something?
Yeah, like a card wallet.
Yeah, yeah. That's funny. I was looking in John Lewis for one the other day.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Even on Wavy Garms, they were like selling like Burberry ones and like more posh stuff. But you know what? I am thinking, fuck it, why not? Because it actually makes more sense. Because it's true, I'm not spending cash. You know?
Entirely.
The only time I need the cash is for when I got to tip people, like at the restaurant, where I don't like doing it through the machine. Because there's no promise it's actually going to go to the actual waiter or whatever.
Oh, really? I don't know. I always because sometimes they put their name on their receipt.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I'm actually at the point, man. I asked the waiter, like, yo, if I tip this, is it going to go to you?
Okay.
And he'll say, oh, no, it's a shared pot. If it's a shared pot, okay, I'm like, okay, fair enough. It's a shared pot because, you know, there's the kitchen staff and shit. So fair enough. But if it ain't going to go to them, I'm just like, fuck that, man. That's not right, you know. But I you know, I still think the crypto shit has a long way to go. The problem is that, think of it, a lot of the growth, a lot of the bull run was just people thinking they can get rich quick. You know, there's literally hundreds of thousands of people just in the UK who are always on this get rich quick schemes. They go to the seminars, all that shit, and they're looking at crypto, thinking the same exact thing. Oh, I'm going to get rich quick off this shit, and that's not how it works. But you know, I hope Bitcoin does drop a little bit more, because I think I will be maybe putting in, just buying like another £100 just to let it sit, because no fucking doubt by the end of next year that shit will hit 50k again. No doubt. I don't even have 1 second of a doubt on that. You know that, dude.
Wow. Oh, bearing in mind, we're not financial advisors. We're just guys who speculate and observe the market.
No, of course. You know,
We
it's
don't want
just
anyone putting like 100 million.
it's just early
fucking-
days.
Yeah.
What do you mean? If they got 100 million, give that shit to us. Fuck Bitcoin. No, but I just think this Bitcoin bubble has got a long way to go. That's what that's my feeling on it, because there's not as many people are adopting it as you might imagine. You know, it's still very far away from widespread adoption. That's the reality.
Do you reckon? But also another, just to, before we wrap up, right? Just do you reckon Bitcoin's with cryptocurrency is more of a Western thing? Because I just think about a lot of countries such as in South America, Paraguay, where not everyone has internet access or has access to the World Wide Web, and would it depend on those countries becoming more developed for Bitcoin to actually flourish, or is it more going to just stay in the Western economies?
Just because I remember that thing I was saying about, I think Bitcoin will become like a reserve currency because the transactions are quite slow.
Okay.
But I do think one coin, there will be a sort of alternative coin which will emerge, which allows fast transactions with the technology of blockchain, like a kind of like a fraud-free ledger blockchain system or whatever.
I see.
And that will take off because, you know, like you're saying, if you're in Bolivia, if you're in Zimbabwe, if you're anywhere where there's a corrupt government, a government where you can't trust the central bank, why wouldn't you transfer and choose that as your means of exchange?
Definitely.
You know? So, and also mobile phones and shit are becoming more and more commonplace.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
and here's the thing, like, it's easy to rob cash. It's much harder to rob someone's like digital wealth asset unless you're gonna like start torturing them and shit like that. But even then, by the time you've kidnapped someone, if you alert the police, they can freeze their account at the bank, and that's it. They can't, you know. There's more safeguards around it. which is a kind of interesting prospect. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, on that note, I guess this has been the Big KIZ podcast. We talked all things crypto, and yeah, it's been good talking to you, Brian, man.
As always. And yeah, no, I think that's a wrap, man.
Yeah.
Speak to you next week.
Cool, sweet.
Sweet, later on.